Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled People. In today's episode, neighbor's mother wants my husband's parking spot permanently. Entitled cousin wants to stay in my place. Entitled jerk refused to pay my sister for over a month of babysitting. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Neighbor's mother wants my husband's parking spot permanently. Our car was stolen in June and then returned to us at the end of July. It's being worked on and my husband has had to tell our neighbor's mother who visits she can no longer park in our parking spot. All well and good until today when I am coming home from some errands. The lady is on our stoop asking for my husband and if there is a way he can extend her parking allowance in our spot. She explains she is moving into the townhouse next to us to help care for her grandkids and she sees that our car is a lost cause. She has said that us losing our car was great so she can park closer to the townhouse and not have to park on the street. What I told her and what my roommate/landlord has told her is thus: the car is being returned and instated in October and you have until then to make arrangements. This woman, who I am assuming has no sense of reality, said the chances of our car ever working is nil and that we should just give her the parking spot. Our townhouses have assigned parking and guest parking spots are adjacent. I told her she has to wait till my husband comes home and talk to him. She literally said she won't talk to him and will just take the spot whenever she wants, regardless if we get our car working or not. Car is currently at my husband's father's being worked on. I know it seems petty, but I am considering calling a tow truck the next time she does this. Update: neighbor who is the son of the woman has gotten involved and sided with us on the matter. He also had told his mother to park in the guest parking spots from now on or do not come here at all. She also lied to me about moving in, big surprise. So far I was given a blessing if she does it again to call a tow truck. We did have someone park in our spot, but he asked if it was okay. He was part of a home inspection because one of our neighbors is selling his townhouse and was only there for 20 minutes. Tow her till she figures it out. Towing, gone. Make sure you get something on record of informing your neighbor or her mother that they are no longer welcome to use the spot. Text message, email, etc. They can, and likely will, try and make it out that you had agreed to allow their use of it and could have some way of proving that you had allowed it in the past. I don't think it would go any further than small claims depending on the tow cost, and doubt they would come out of it victoriously, but you want to make sure you're ready for anything they try and pull. Save the tow company number in your phone, lol. She will get hint the first time that her wish.com attempt at bullying you won't work. Not petty at all. Additionally, put a sign advertising the local tow company in your front window. People like this neighbor will not respond to calm logical reasoning. She just gave you a heads up that she will take the parking spot and you can lump it. You can waste time and energy and breath trying to reason with her, but in the end you'll be at the same point. You'll need to tow her car to get the point across. She's a bully and will bully you if you let her. This must be a tactic that works for her. Tow the car. Be prepared for screaming and yelling on her part. Why are you considering a tow truck? Give her a warning that this is what will happen, then have her towed. You sound nice, OP. You are bothered enough by this situation to write here. Don't be a doormat. Entitled cousin wants to stay in my place. This is an old story. So I have a cousin, Kate. Kate has a brother, Jake, and Leanne is my sister. Beth is Leanne's twin and Greg was Leanne's BF at the time. I invited Leanne to come over to my place for holidays. Leanne asked me if she could bring some people with her and I told her yes, thinking that she was talking about Greg. At the time, she didn't tell me exactly who. One day I was talking to my mom and she told me that now, as I was in good terms with Kate, I could look for a job for Kate and help her to move with me until she gets back on her feet. Or even better, I could offer a job to Kate as a cleaner. For the record, Kate hates me, she had proven so. My ex cheated on me with her, she badmouths me constantly, and so on. I asked my mom where that idea came from and she said that Kate is coming to my place in a couple of months. I denied it, and by the dates, it was when Leanne was supposed to come. I called Leanne and she denied it, so I told her that Jake is fine but Kate is not welcome in my place. Then I called Beth and Beth told me that Kate convinced Leanne to pay for the whole trip for her, and she already did, because she didn't want to pay for a trip that she is not sure if she is going to be able to make. Moreover, Kate convinced Leanne not to tell me anything and give me the surprise when they arrive. I told Beth the same. Kate is not welcome, and if they do something like that, Kate will need to find accommodation because she is not staying at my place. I don't know what happened at that point, but Leanne came only with Greg and my mom was mad at me because I didn't host Kate. Let your mom provide her with housing and a job if she's that hell-bent on trying to help her. She can house her, or even better, she could offer her a job to Kate as a cleaner. Do not let them get you. Make it very clear that is your house and your rules, and whoever breaks them or tries to F with them are not welcome in your home. FFS. Your mom needs to shut up and not force a cousin on you. Do not let that be *TCH near you. On the plus side, mom's big mouth let OP know that Kate was coming to visit instead of being surprised. I have a strict policy with my entitled family members. 1. If they do not personally ask me. 2. If they do not personally have my address. 3. If they do not personally have my phone number. 4. If they do not have me added on socials. They never asked me. Therefore, they are not allowed in my space unless I personally allow them to be. Only twice have I had to enforce this rule, and both times, I did not hesitate to remind the rules and that the consequences will always be me calling the police on them. I work in mental health and am a former military person, so my place has to be my sanctuary, and I also only allow those who respect my boundaries to stay. I have had people say, "How are we to ask if we don't have these things?" And my response is always this: I will give you this information, as you are not blocked on social media, and can add me as a friend, so it is on you to make the effort, not me. I am approaching 45 soon, and trust me, unless you make your stand now while young, when you reach my age, you may wonder how to stop it. My family all hate that I have this boundary but are the first to complain about others not respecting their boundaries. As most Redditors would say, those loudly upset are the volunteers to host those whom you have denied entitlement over your peace. Mom, stop hoping I forgive Kate and we become friends. She hates me, and I am done with her, permanently. It will never happen, so don't get your hopes up. Entitled jerk refused to pay my sister for over a month of babysitting. I woke up this morning and remembered this story at random while having coffee. This happened when my sister was a teenager. She took on babysitting to make money after school and on weekends. At one point she was contracted by a single dad to babysit his young son. This kid was hands down a brat. His mother had apparently walked out when he was a toddler, and his father didn't discipline him at all. The father was a very busy man, and often didn't get home until late. So my sister racked up a lot of hours watching his kid. I don't remember what her rates were back then. But I do remember them being very fair, if not cheaper than most. My sister would say that if you want to get a babysitting job, sometimes you have to lower your rates so you get hired over other teenagers that were trying to do the same. Understandable. But this nightmare kid my sister had to watch was just awful. He was pretty overweight for a 7-year-old because he refused to eat anything but junk food. And his father was always buying it for him. His diet primarily consisted of burgers, burritos, and pizza, along with lots of soda and sweets. My sister once tried to get him to eat steamed vegetables, and the brat called his daddy crying that he wanted junk food. The kid wouldn't do his homework either, just wanted to eat and play video games all day. And he had not only a foul mouth on him, but was often physical too. He attacked my sister and tried to pull her hair out, just because she beat him at a racing video game. My sister was at the end of her rope. And the brat's father hadn't paid her since she'd started a month prior. My sister had him sign a written document that stated how many hours she worked every single day she babysat. But he still wasn't paying her. He kept making excuses, saying he just needed time, he'd be good for it soon, etc. But eventually my sister told him that either he paid or she'd quit. Well, they got in an argument, and he didn't want to pay at all. My sister said like father, like son, because she could see where his kid got his entitlement from. My sister came home in tears, and my parents went over to the entitled father's house to demand he pay. He laughed in their faces. But he apparently couldn't find another babysitter because he was calling and begging a few days later. But he still wouldn't pay her. My dad then told the guy that there was no way in hell they were letting my sister go back to his house, and were gearing up to take him to small claims court for not paying my sister. Unless he paid her what he owed. We had his signatures on all the hours he'd signed off on. And he'd lose out on even more if we went to court. He showed up about an hour later, begrudgingly handed my parents a check, and called us thieves for forcing a hard-working single dad to pay. My dad told him off for hiring a babysitter with no intention to pay. And called him a scumbag. Now this doesn't quite end there. My sister 2 weeks later anonymously reported the entitled dad to CPS. They investigated, and the man nearly lost his son. The kid was extremely unhealthy from all of the junk food, he was going to have to repeat a year in school, and he needed counseling for his anger. Also, my sister was the only one doing any sort of cleaning over there. So in the 2 weeks since my sister wasn't working there, the place was trashed. CPS took the kid away till the father could get everything sorted. My sister found all of this out from varying people. And she kept tabs on them for a while, purely out of spite. But the brat ended up losing a lot of weight, and neighbors heard him screaming many times that he wanted junk food when his father wouldn't give it to him. The father was even taking his son on morning runs. I'm guessing doctors told him his kid was at risk of diabetes or something. The guy eventually moved, and my sister heard nothing more ever again. But I'll bet that kid is still entitled now. Note, I and my parents did feel my sister calling CPS was a bit of an overreach. And my sister has admitted many times she's vindictive. And she practically stalked those people for more information after the fact. I suppose I'm vindictive too on some level considering a big prank I helped out with not too long ago. But by the time we found out what my sister had been done, there was nothing we could really do about it. All of her friends backed her up as well. So she was basically scolded a bit, and then it was all swept under the rug. No, too, do I think CPS overreached a bit too? Yes, I do. But from what I know, they generally have to follow up on any report given. Also, this kid was straight up physically violent to people, and the father was verbally not far off. Which probably didn't help his case. I don't know if the kid was sent to live with a relative till the father sorted things out. I only heard all of this stuff from my sister. That said, CPS is not a perfect organization. It all depends on who you're dealing with in it. You could have CPS agents that are way too overzealous and love the power they feel like they have to give and take. But then you have the CPS agents that barely do their jobs at all, or are so overworked that they just couldn't be bothered with anything more. Update: well, my sister knew about this Reddit account and didn't tell me until now. She's known about it for a long time, and didn't appreciate my first post since it involved her. She just called me a little bit ago, give me an ass chewing, and to clarify some things I'd gotten wrong since this situation happened 10 years ago. She first told me I shouldn't have posted this without asking her, as this was her story to tell, not mine. I apologized for that. Then she told me the kid wasn't taken from his father exactly. He was sent to live with his grandparents nearby until the house had been cleaned up and he could secure a new babysitter. CPS was involved. But they basically told the father to get his and his son's acts together. And that he needed to be a better father. And once CPS has their eyes on you, they don't look away for a while. So my sister guessed the dad was just trying to look good as a parent. I asked how she knew so much, and she'd stalked the father's social media for some time, till the guy deleted his profile. He ranted very negatively about his son staying with the parents of his ex-wife. And he was pissed about having to hire a cleaning crew for the house since it was bordering on hoarder levels of filth. I said my sister was the only one there doing any cleaning. But she was only able to do so much. The house was infested too. Which means exterminators also had to be called in. The father ranted how much money it was costing him. He got an earful from people telling him he was a horrible parent, and soon deleted his account. My sister also got info from the babysitter who replaced her in the father's employ. And no, he didn't try to go without paying that babysitter like he did my sister. Guess he learned his lesson on that. So I guess CPS didn't outright take the kid. They just sent him to his grandma and grandpa, who were like an hour away. I really should have asked my sister if it was okay to post this, because I got way too much of it wrong, and my sister was upset that I didn't fully have her back about it. For that I am very sorry. I made some mistakes, and I'm owning them. Just glad your sister got paid. This may not be popular, but in a small way I think it's good that she did call CPS, because something tells me that there was probably more that the entitled father was leading on aside, hearing that the kid only ate junk food and had a filthy house. Something in my gut says after reading it that he definitely was too cheap to pay your sister, but something else tells me that there's probably more going on, so who knows, maybe her being vindictive probably could have saved that kid's life, but that's just my opinion. My thoughts exactly. OP doesn't have the whole picture. Narrator, and that child grew up to be the living embodiment of human excrement known as Joel Michael Singer. You can bet he is entitled. I had a babysitter business for a while, and the amount of entitled parents who had many demands. I agreed to the terms of only before and after school for a couple of hours, feed your kids before dropping them off. Majority of them didn't want to do that. There is a kid in particular who was morbidly obese like his dad, and at age 8/9. His father started insisting that I take a pay cut and feed his kid whenever he wanted to eat, got out of that business fast. Glad your sister got paid. I am so tired of that "I am a single parent" excuse, as if it clears you from being an AH. I am a single dad and yet it is hard as hell, but my kids are my responsibility. If I had someone babysit them when they were that age, I always made sure to pay really well because I trusted my kids' lives with the person who babysat them. I trusted someone with the two people who matter more to me than anything, so I appreciated that they kept my girls safe. People's entitlement because they are a single parent is astounding. Good for your dad to have his daughter's back like that. That guy was a POS and was just trying to get someone for free. Plus your sister did the right thing by calling CPS. Child was being neglected and apparently his health was in jeopardy because the dad just didn't want to deal with his responsibility. Don't know her, but I like your sister. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.